If you could fly, I know you'd see why we've got to work together. If you could fly, I know you'd try to understand it better. There are slender threads that keep the world in touch with you and me. They're the lifelines of our nation, and we want you all to see. 'Cause we depend on each other. You've got to reach out, understand that everyone's your brother. It's so simple that you've got to see that tomorrow's up to you and me. 'Cause we depend on each other.
See you later. Within our nation and society, a natural balance has evolved. Our supplies of energy are linked with energy users to produce power, heat, security, and comfort. Roadways and railways link cities and states to provide us with a transportation and a reliable source of goods. These power lines, pipelines, roads, and railroads form a vital network, the lifelines of a nation. Protecting these lifelines is an all-important task. That's why laws have been established that give utilities, telephone companies, pipelines, road commissions, and railroads the sovereign right to purchase or utilize the land easements necessary to support these lifelines. The easements, or rights of way, are often taken for granted, yet they represent an important resource, a resource that is vital to our survival as a nation. With all that we have in modern America, it's easy to forget these things, like the miracle of electrical power, for example. The majority of American homes utilize the convenience of at least 16 different electric appliances. Our plentiful production and widespread distribution of electricity has enabled our nation to achieve the highest standard of living in the history of mankind. We rank first in the world in terms of electrical generation, making possible the development of countless new industries, creating job opportunities, economic growth, and an always improving quality of life. To supply us with electrical power, millions of miles of utility lines stretched over right-of-way lands reach into every corner of the United States. Likewise, the telephone cables that span our right-of-way resources allow us to visit or conduct business with each other anywhere in the world. They provide communication links for computers, radio and television transmissions. They provide the backbone network for state-of-the-art satellite communication links. Besides being dependent on electrical power and telephones, we as a nation rely heavily on our highways. There are nearly 4 million miles of streets and roads in the United States today, enough pavement to cover the state of West Virginia. In addition to our personal vehicles, 110 million registered trucks and 500,000 buses currently travel the American highways. Aside from the personal freedom that good highways offer our society, they provide rapid and relatively economical transport of the wide variety of goods and materials we use every day. In addition to shipping, our roadways are important to our national security. In fact, the official title of our interstate highway system is the National System of Interstate and Defense Highways. The allocation of right-of-way land in America has made possible our strong highway system. In addition to the roadbed itself, highway rights-of-way include medians and roadsides. These additional areas allow an important margin of safety and permit an elaborate system of signs to guide our travel. Other right-of-way lands are maintained for a more unique form of transportation: pipelines. Over 1 million miles of pipelines crisscross the U.S., providing reliable, economical delivery of natural gas, crude oil, and other industrial products. A single pipeline, 22 inches in diameter, can deliver as many as 1,500 truckloads of crude oil in just one day. Pipelines may be laid on top of the right-of-way or underground. To assure our nation of a dependable, uninterrupted supply of important raw materials and products, most modern pipelines are patrolled by air. These aircraft check for leaks, soil erosion, or other conditions that might interrupt the flow of materials or threaten the environment. Rights-of-way also allow the transportation of goods by rail. U.S. railroads operate 340,000 miles of track. They haul 41% of the intercity freight transported in this country, thus becoming vitally important to our economic stability. It's been estimated that if our rail system suffered an 8-week shutdown, our gross national product could be reduced by as much as 24%, increasing unemployment by as much as 22%. The millions of miles of right-of-way lands across our nation are crucial to our survival as a free society. Services provided by electrical utilities, telephones, highways, pipelines, and railways depend heavily on these lands. Yet, however secure right-of-ways seem to be, they are vulnerable. Breakdowns in our nation's lifelines are expensive in both human and economic terms. Surprisingly enough, One of the major threats to the security of right-of-way lands is caused by trees and brush. Trees that grow up into transformers or power lines can create serious problems. Ice storms or windstorms can break off branches or tree trunks, knocking out power and telephone service for an entire area. Such an outage can often be life-threatening.
It looks like this whole line is
Direct economic losses that result from power failures over the past 10 years have cost us about $40 million each year.
It didn't make any difference which way we went. We had lines down. We could try to pick up the easiest spurs first.
Allowing trees and brush to grow uncontrolled in utility rights-of-way can increase these costs by making repairs more frequent, difficult, and dangerous. Along our roadways, uncontrolled vegetation extracts a heavy price in human life. Trees and brush growing in the rights-of-way can quickly overgrow traffic signs and signals. Such hazards result in auto accidents and, at times, human casualties. Each year, hundreds of lives are lost in car-train accidents in the United States. Trees and brush that block intersections and cover crossing signs contribute significantly to this toll. Uncontrolled trees and brush along rail lines can also damage trains and goods in transit, driving up transportation costs. Who pays for these increased costs? We do, in the marketplace. Allowing vegetation to grow uncontrolled over a pipeline represents another kind of threat to these lifelines of our nation. It could take a great deal of precious time to get a repair crew and their equipment to the scene of a pipeline break. Imagine the threat to life, personal property, and to the environment that could occur if the pipeline emergency crew is hampered by a poorly maintained right-of-way. To protect our nation's lifelines, utility and pipeline companies, railroad and highway departments spend millions of dollars each year to maintain their rights-of-way. Basically, unwanted trees and brush are controlled two ways. One is through the use of massive mechanical tools. Cutting mechanisms and heavy blades chew up the vegetation and shear it off near the ground. This type of clearing, however, has its limitations. The equipment used for mechanical clearing of rights-of-way is both expensive and slow. Also, mechanical equipment often tears up the topsoil, a situation that can lead to erosion problems and the destruction of wildlife habitat. What's more, many areas along rights-of-way are remote and hilly, and the equipment often cannot negotiate the steep inclines. Unfortunately, many tree and brush species that have been cut by machinery quickly re-sprout from their roots. Typically, the cut vegetation will send up several new shoots for each one that has been cut. These resprouts can once again take over right-of-way lands within a single growing season. The use of modern herbicide products represents another important tool used by right-of-way managers to control unwanted trees and brush. Recent scientific discoveries have led to the development of a new breed of herbicide products for use on rights-of-way. The active ingredients in many of these modern products are no more hazardous than common aspirin. And they are applied at low rates, often in highly diluted form. In many ways, these products are very similar to the herbicides that are used to control weeds in lawns and in croplands all across the United States. Many of these modern herbicides are designed specifically to control trees and brush while allowing valuable grasses to flourish. These grasses can reduce the damaging effects of soil erosion and provide food and habitat for wildlife. Before any of these herbicides can be used, they are fully tested and approved by the Federal Environmental Protection Agency. And in the hands of professional applicators, herbicides can be easily and accurately applied in areas where the terrain would prohibit the use of mechanical equipment. New equipment technology and advances in application techniques help to ensure that these herbicide products are applied only on right-of-way lands and not on nearby property. Modern herbicides are designed to break down in the environment without leaving harmful residues. Most of the modern herbicide products used to control vegetation along rights-of-way affect only broadleaf trees and brush. The active ingredient in these herbicides travels throughout the plants, causing them to grow rapidly. This rapid growth makes them outgrow their life support systems. In a matter of a few weeks, these plants die out, roots and all. So there's little chance of resprouting problems with most species. This means that in many cases, retreatment of the right-of-way is only needed once every 3 to 5 years, or longer. Years of research and millions of dollars worth of scientific testing are conducted on each of these herbicide products to make sure they do their job without having an adverse effect on people, wildlife, or the environment. In fact, environmental studies have shown that proper control of brush and trees on right-of-way lands can actually increase the wildlife populations present. Through precise vegetation control and careful land management, right-of-way managers are able to maintain a reliable supply of energy to provide the benefits of safer and more economical rail and highway transportation, and to assure a level of comfort and security unparalleled anywhere else in the world.